All right, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This is part 3 of the basic home tutorial. I've kept this tutorial light and small just for the focus of the important details, but not to spend too much time on tremendous amount of work. So as you can see here, if you've been following along, we have a single floor, kind of single person or single couple home. 735 square feet, excluding the bathroom, 750 feet, including the bathroom. As you can see here from the previous video, I've spent some time labeling my rooms that have been obviously divided off and separated from each room perimeter. And once again, just to remind you how to do that, you're going to click on a floor region, and you're going to click on the door, the bottom left corner, or Control E, and then you can assign how you would like the building to be divided up to. So as we have a kind of like a living dining room open floor plan, a small entryway, kitchen, full bath, be it small, and then a bedroom. Obviously we have our closet here, so that's probably also been done since the last time. So I asked that you do a couple things independently since the last time we were together, and that would be finish your kitchen, think about what needs to be included in the kitchen, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a walkthrough of what mine entails, as well as a living area, a dining area, a bathing area, and then a sleeping area. We don't have a utility room in this building. There's no at the moment, there's no furnace and hot water heater. There's no space allocated for that. There's no space allocated for a garage or a basement. As I said, I'm simplifying this specific project, so we aren't going to be getting into those details with this series. We're going to switch to Shift J. This is kind of like the interior camera, and then Shift K, which is right next to the letter on the keyboard. This will be outside. So in class I always say Shift J, Shift K. J is inside, K is outside. So we are going to Shift J, our full floor camera. We're going to click where we would stand, and we're going to let go and drag for our point of view. And as you can see here, I have my orbit tool selected up here, which is allowing me to look around the room just like I would be turning my head or the camera. And then I have my arrow keys that I can kind of move around in the building as well, almost like a walkthrough. There is a walkthrough feature. However, this works well enough to kind of get the point across. The walkthrough is a little bit better. But what you can see here is the layout of this building in terms of the way that I've designed it. I put a double oven in a full cabinet, full height cabinet. I have a refrigerator, a small little base cabinet and wall cabinet to make up the useless space that was there. Over here in the kitchen, I have some wall cabinets and obviously base cabinets. And over in the kitchen, I have a cooktop that you can see here. I have a dishwasher, be it that it's not probably the best color. A drop-in sink, our window that matches in terms of the height of the window heights of the rest of the building, although it's not as low in terms of position from the floor as you can see here, because obviously we would have some interference here. For example, once again, if I were to keep the height the same and the bottom, right, and I think my perspective might be a little bit off, or I have to adjust it, but ideally we'll have to push up the window from the floor to accommodate the kitchen counter. However, the height of the window, or let's say from the ceiling down to the top of the window, it should be consistent, and it's going to make the exterior of the building look a little bit better. So if I didn't do that, that's something that you would like to do, and it would make things look a little bit better put together. Another thing that I added was a ceiling light. So in the library, if you type in lights or light, you'll get a variety of lights. If you type in something like hanging light, ceiling light, you'll get a variety of things, such as you have a ceiling fan and so forth. If I wanted to place a ceiling fan in, I could just click. If you notice the room just got brighter, I'm going to hit Control Z. You'll see that it gets darker. every light brings its own light properties. And so if I were to go into this light that I found and go into its properties by the little door here, I can go into the light data and specify the lumens of intensity, the color and the warmthness, whether it's a point or a spotlight. And I could, like I said, I could give it a different color, a different hue. I don't really want to do this. As you can see, things got a little greener and so forth. So you can use this to your own creative benefit, but this is also helpful when we ray trace and do some renderings. Okay, so obviously adding lights is helpful. And if you think of the home that you live in, the home that you live in has some lights. Two-dimensionally, it looks like this. It attaches itself to the ceiling, and then at the moment, my default layers, reddish burgundy, kind of shows up as the lighting layer. So I have a floor lamp here, a ceiling lamp here as two examples. I have two end table lights in the bedroom. I don't have any specific lighting in the bathroom, and I probably should. If you think about your bathroom light, you obviously would want to have some. Let's see here. Ceiling light, we have ceiling fans. I'm not going to obviously waste your time watching me search through the actual library, but obviously I'm not searching the proper term, so if that was the case, I probably would just go to my core catalog here, right, and then take a look. Lighting, we would open up lighting. Then you have ceiling mounted lights. At this point, recessed versus flushed. And then you can click on these and kind of get a general idea. I don't think this is really going to be the classiest type of light that you can put in your building. So think about what it is that you would like to see in a building that you live in, and then click on one and then place it. So, you know, if I was going with something like this, if I wanted to see exposed bulbs or frosted, all I would have to do then with it selected, come over to the space and click as if you're placing it on the floor. It's going to belong to the building ceiling, the room ceiling. So at this point, I'm going to put two lights in, and even in the bedroom, if I wanted to put in a ceiling light, maybe a ceiling fan. I'm not going to spend a lot of time selecting it, but if we were to place one maybe directly in the middle of the room to kind of give it some circulation, we're kind of done here. So let's go inside again and do our full floor camera, just to kind of give you the ultimate view of what you should kind of have in yours. So starting this series, you should have your living room figured out, your entryway. You can see a little bit of a bench here, a place to put your shoes. If you don't like the height of something, you can click it in 3D, and you could play with the various settings of whether clicking here, you can mess around with the height settings and so forth and get it higher up the wall if you would like. I have a dining area. The dining area itself, when I selected it, I typed in dining room or dining. Some of the objects will come as a complete setup block. So you could drop this in and you're going to get your flatware, your furniture, and your lighting all in one, as well as some decorations, as you can see here. So this was a really easy one to throw in, okay? If you don't like a specific feature of it, I don't know if you can get into the actual package and then modify it. If you notice, my doors are open here. Opening my doors in 3D is something that I like to keep so you can see, but if you were to click on a door, right click it, you'll see show door closed or show door open in 3D. And this one, first of all, is a small house. It'll make it appear larger. Second of all, I want to obviously have you see what a homeowner would see. Most likely the doors wouldn't just be closed. So let's go into the bedroom quickly. Small bedroom. The idea was to kind of be limiting you with the space that you had, so you had something to work with. So I have a small bed that would fit this room, two end tables. There's my ceiling fan, closet, and dresser. So this would constitute as a small bedroom, and it would fit the size of this house. If you don't like the positioning of this window, you can of course click it and horizontally move it over. Maybe it would look more appropriate spaced in the center between these. Remember, you are the architect, and you get to make some realistic, reasonable modifications, right? So anyway, with that being said, if you liked it centered or whatnot, I'm going to keep the height of it the same, just based on similarities for the rest of the house. Let's take a look at the bathroom. I'm just going to blow through the wall here by just zooming out. Switch back over to my camera. Bathroom view. As you can see, I have a tub with a shower, a sliding glass door, a small pedestal sink, and then obviously a toilet, and then a window positioned conveniently above the toilet for lighting and ventilation. There's our two ceiling lights we just added in. Maybe a bathroom fan would be more appropriate, but once again, time consuming wise, I'm not going to waste any more time by showing you these things that you could find yourself. Another helpful view we haven't used before is perspective floor overview. This is something that you're familiar with Floor Planner. As you can see, it's almost like the dollhouse view. You can really kind of get in and show people specifically what it is you'd like to have them understand about your setup. So as you can see, there's my bathroom. I made good use of it. I threw in a interior wall here to kind of give it the backing of the shower here. And I'm not sure why the shower isn't showing. However, there should be a shower head off the wall here. Anyway, minor details at this point. So this is what you should have when we start this specific project moving forward. Okay, so I ask that you kind of got this done before we start this, and this is kind of the level of work that I'm looking from you. As you can see, I also have some common themes here. The floor in the kitchen and the floor in the entryway match. Okay, it's intentional, and if you notice, the floor in the bathroom as well matches. And then the living area and the bedroom have the similar floor covering. I'm not sure, I don't care if it's carpet, but it should have some sort of similarities, some common theme throughout the house. Okay. Eyedropper tools are useful. I've talked about this in the past. If you liked a material and you wanted to put it on something else, you could do that. For example, you wanted door trim to match your cabinet trim. You can sample some and then spray it on the surfaces. As you can see here, this didn't take more than a couple seconds to do. And now we have a common look and feel. All right, same thing goes with the door over here, even though it's an odd view. Sample, spray, and so forth. We can keep going through the house and kind of give it that common theme of the wood trim if that's what you'd like. Just for common theme, I'm going to quickly just click these just to make them look similar, not spending a tremendous amount of time focusing on the design aspect. Okay, same scenario. Eyedropper, sample, spray. This is just to give you a demonstration of what to do when you, this works outside as well. Okay, so I'm going to save this at this point. We're going to talk about roofing and how we're going to set up roofs. I know if you were in class, we may have talked about this once or twice, but this is a document for you to recall from. So we're going to switch back to the two-dimensional view, and we're going to go over to the single select. And what we're going to do is go over to the walls that we're going to put gables on. Remember, we talked about gables before. It's that vertical triangular peak. I'm going to have the front or the south and the north wall slope downward, and then the east and the west wall have the gable. So we're going to click one wall. I'm going to hold shift and select the second wall. Now I have two walls selected at once. I'm going to go down here to this door, and I'm going to select the options of both of the things I've had selected. And we're focusing on roof at this point. So we're going to click on the roof, and you are going to make sure that full gable wall is selected. Okay? By default, this is not selected. All right, so you want to make sure full gable wall is selected. And then when we auto-generate the roof will be controlled by the walls themselves, and we will have a gable here. Okay? If we wanted to make it steeper and things like that, we can focus on the pitch on the other walls that have the slope on them, and we can make them steeper if we would like, and so forth. But at this point, we're going to leave them the way it is by default. Anytime you see a little D here, that means default. So we're just going to say OK. You're not going to notice any changes at this point because we haven't made the roof. We've only defined the roof. So at this point, you have a roof tool right here where it says Build Roof and Roof Plane and all this other stuff. We are just going to double click this menu, the actual tool, and pull up the Build Roof menu. So at this point, we are going to check Build Roof Planes. We're going to leave our pitch at 8 and 12. We are going to go up vertically 8 inches in height for every 12 inches that we go over and travel. We'll leave our auto rebuild roofs off at this point, and when you say okay, you're going to see some green lines appear that is going to represent your roof plane. So when I say okay, you will see at this point, hopefully, a green line represented here, another green line that's going to represent the overhang and the gutter, the green line here, front gutter, the back of your gutter and the ending of your roof. Then we have the ridge of your roof here. And we have a roof plane that's sloping downward at the 8 and 12 pitch. And then we have another roof plane sloping downward this direction at the 8 and 12 pitch. Our vertical walls are here on the outside of our house. This is our gable that we have set up, both of our gables. Right, so think of Snoopy's doghouse if you know what that is. So let's view it in 3D. Remember, Shift K is outside. Shift K. As you can see, we have our gable. We do have the messed up heights of our kitchen and our living, so we could either equalize that and make that look the same, but this definitely looks out of place. I would bring this window down a little bit. This is the back of the house. That's the bedroom. That little bathroom window, as you can see here, right? There's our bedroom, and so forth. So at this point, you know how to add the roof. There's your overhang, and if you want it steeper, you could change that 8 to a greater number. So changing exterior, this is something that you want to kind of decide what you want your building to look like, not the default. So you would select, once again, click on a wall of choice. You can open up the options, and you're going to see materials. That's all that we're really focused on. And then exterior walls. This is what the default is associated to my computer. Yours is slightly, I think, a darker gray. So you're just going to click Select Material. And at this point, your computer needs to have had all the libraries downloaded. Due to the network connectivity, some of our library files are missing. So you'll see that in a minute. And it's not a consistent experience. So find stuff that looks good, that works. So we're going to open this down to Core. We're going to go to Materials. And at this point, we're going to look for Siding. Okay, so we're going to go to the S. And if we're going to look, we have siding and paneling. We have stucco, right? So let's go to siding. We have aluminum siding, beadboard siding. When you click on them, you can kind of get some visuals of what they should look like, all the way down to like a log cabin, if that's what you would like to see. When you see missing texture, that's a computer network issue with it not downloading the necessary textures. There's shingles, tongue and groove. There's a large set. So I'm just going to choose vertical paneling at this point. I'm just going to choose gray and click OK. Here's what it looks like in a better render. This is what it looks like in 2 dimensions, kind of a flat render. And you're just going to say OK. Now that's going to be the outside of your house. If you notice, the gable peaks are not set up, so this is where you're going to use your eyedropper, sample, spray. Then just say OK. Rotate over here. This is an auto-generated wall, meaning that when we created our roof, it created that wall. So we're going to sample and spray. 1 or more auto-generated walls will be retained, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to say OK. Basically, if you rebuild the roof, it's going to get reset. That's what it's saying. Anyway, you could play around with the trim, some trim that actually works with this color, because this is a pretty dark color. I'm not sure if I'm sold on the overall design. I think there needs to be some outside lights. So if we type in exterior light, you should see some that can hang off the house, as you can see here. You can see some that also stand. So we could focus on some landscaping and so forth. This specific building, I think we should have a front light on the house itself. And you could spend some time focusing on the specific style that you would like. I'm just going to grab a simple sconce here and click on the actual outside of my house. And then I'll put one here as well. And at this point, you can kind of see that the lighting itself is kind of lending itself to a little bit of a haze. And when we ray trace this, it'll look a little brighter. So we have just some simple lighting here, and obviously I'm just using this as an example. There's millions of lights, street lights of all different styles and so forth. remember you can click on these, and change their specific lighting data and make it a warmer color. Say I wanted more of a yellowish color, goldish color. It would kind of project that when we go to render, okay? So that's how you do your roof. That's how you're gonna do your exterior material spray and decoration. And then when it comes to landscaping, I'm looking at the video now, we're 20 minutes in. I'm going to focus on that just specifically with video 4, just because I kind of went over what your designs should look like, and once again, how to do this. So we didn't really do too much here other than hopefully you understood what I'm looking for out of your designs at this point, and then we're gonna get into video 4 to do landscaping. So hopefully this was helpful, and post your questions or comments down below or send me an email. Have a good day.